Welcome to the Renegade Health Boss podcast, where we push the boundaries of what's possible in health and wellness. I'm your host, Heather Gray, a certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and certified bioenergetic practitioner. And each week we dive deep into the world of physical, mental, spiritual health, biohacking, relationships. But we're not just talking about the basics. I'm bringing you conversations with the true renegades, experts who are challenging the status quo in their fields, breaking barriers, and uncovering the real truth behind what it takes to live an incredible, joy-filled, and optimized life. If you're ready to step out of the ordinary and step into a life of extraordinary health and happiness, you're in the right place. Let's get started on this journey to becoming your own Renegade Health Boss. Yay, let's welcome Ian to the show.
Hey, Heather, good to be here.
I'm so excited to finally have landed this. I've been chasing you down for almost a year now, and it's just exciting because I fell in love with you. I can't remember whose talk I saw you with, but you were talking about water and hydration and things that I aren't normally put out there, but like intuitively, I was like, holy cow, this guy's on to something. This is amazing. And I fell in love with your work, and I'm super excited to be talking with you today and going over some of your products. You carry a lineup that's not, typical of most people's supplement stores. And that's what I love about it. And every single one of them has got its own unique difference on what makes it different than something else that's on the market. So I can't wait to dive in deeper. Who are you? Why'd you get started into this stuff? And this is gonna be a lot of fun. Ian, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I've been on a very significant health journey for about 20 years now. And it started out with a ridiculous situation where I knew nothing about health, and I was dying of a tumor and a problem with heart disease and liver malfunction. And I was only 46 years old. So fortunately today at 66, I can tell you that I learned so much in this journey of getting away from the medical establishments, who the offerings they had for me in 2004 were barbaric. I'm not against the medical establishments. They couldn't help me. And it was a life-threatening situation. I mean, I think doctors around the world help people survive every day. But that world is so different. It's more of a sick care system than a healthcare system. And I woke up one day and I realized there were people on the earth who had tremendously high level of knowledge in how to support the body's natural ability to heal. But I had no clue. It was just this thought that, of course, they exist. Just like you have people at the top level of any category. And I realized that of the billions of people on the earth, it would be a massive challenge to find them. So my request was simple. I just need to be led. If I could, from the spiritual realm, be led to these people, I would be very thankful. And I would really appreciate learning from them. And if I could have the eyes to see that they were the people I was being led to as well, because a lot of times it just goes right over your head or right under your nose and you don't know. And so just slowly but surely, I was led to enough people soon enough that to turn a 3-year lifespan into 5 years, and then a 5-year lifespan into 10 into 25, and now, I don't know what, it's like indefinite now. Because I learned there are master keys that allow you and everyone else and myself to employ, and they completely remove the problems. So just like, you have a genetic expression that's completely unique to you. Now, maybe you've got some toxicity or some congestion or something that's bothering you. You're going to express it with whatever that expression is uniquely. I might express totally differently. So I don't want to chase around and try to figure out expressions. I just realized if we remove the actual problem, but you have to know what the problem is to start with, then all that stuff goes away. And it's not about root cause. Everybody goes, well, what's the root cause? Well, the root goes this far into the earth, then it goes this far into the earth. You want the entire depth of the start of the whole problem, and then you get rid of the problem and everything cleared up. So I'm very happy to tell you that I was given access, I was led to people who had master keys. And all I did was go, oh, that looks like a master key to me. Let's find out. And then I started curating them and putting them together and combining them. Whereas people weren't doing that. You have somebody at a really high level of brain health, for example, or somebody who's really dialed into gut health. That's everything to them. Oh, she's gut health, that's everything. No, it ties into every 15 of your operating systems in your body that have to work together. And so I found out that if you improve each of those systems every day a little bit, that your health continuously gets better as you get older. And older just means more years on the earth. You stop aging, you reverse age. I had to reverse age like a lot because I was like an 84-year-old when I was 46. So now I'm measuring it around a 25-year-old biological age, both biologically and structurally. And that's, of course, very important to have a good structural health. And that led me to different, very definitive products. And I see the products only as complementary. Because just think about the knowledge you've gained over the last, how many years have you been doing this now?
I finally was diagnosed with Lyme in 2013 after 27 years of undiagnosed Lyme disease, mold toxicity,
Wow.
2 suicide attempts, 3 autoimmune diseases, and 100 pounds overweight. So a
Wow.
little over 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. And so that 10 years has been very definitive, obviously, because you look in great condition now and your health is really, pristine.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
but we're always looking to get better, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I love the longevity and the biohacking people because it's been so fun to see. And so sadly, like I just redid a biome test lately and it told me that my chronological age is 48 or 49. I'm actually 46. So it shows me that there's some room for improvement. But my husband, who didn't have the illnesses and the crap that I have, the chronic illnesses, but he's been doing the same kind of, I've had him on the same regimen. He's 47 and he showed up as like 42. So yay, what I'm doing is working for, a person who's healthy and it's, probably keeping me functional. So God bless this stuff.
Yeah, you're still super young. So you got a long ways to go and it just gets better. So once, my job now, I understand, is to share everything that is pertinent to people for them to actually take responsibility for themselves, see the results, because in the body, you can't fake it. It just is what it is. And it's all measurable. So it's a matter of getting all the big rocks moved and getting those problems out of the way. And it's really simple. It's not complex. That's why our product line is so simple. It's just like we only have 15 products. I know companies who have over 1,000 products in the health space. I'm like, that's okay. I'm not against that. It's just that you start. And so where I found out to start is at the functional foundational level, right down at the base. It's like if you're going to have a strong tree that's going to be able to blow in the wind and get those roots going deeper, you got to have a very, very deep, solid foundation. So resetting that and getting all the cracks healed up, getting any fissures, anything at all that would be detrimental to your foundation. And then when you build your health on top, it doesn't topple over. It stays in place.
Absolutely. What was that? So the talk that I heard about water and hydration, what was that product you were talking about? And could you give us just a snippet of what you were talking about in that talk? I'm
Yeah,
like,
so yes, yeah. So the gist of it was that if you're drinking purified water, that will actually remove essential electrolytic fluids out of your body because there's an osmotic transfer of salinity. Salinity is how much is the salt in the water. And your body is very salty. If you cry a tear, you can tell how salty you are. And we are the salt of the earth. And if the salt loses its savor, which is its essence, then it's discarded. So instead of drinking purified water, well, you start with purified water, but you make electrolytic fluid out of that. And the way you do it is you get a series of magnets that you put under your water jug. That's an essential thing. Because what that does is it drops the surface tension to 0. And then you add sea salt. Now, all sea salt in the market is toxic, unfortunately. And I hate to have to report that, but that is the truth. The way that you test it is you get a stainless steel pot that you don't care about anymore that has a lid. You put about a 1/4 inch of the salt in the bottom of that pot and you put it at red hot heat on the stove. Keep the lid on. Once you hear the salt start to pop and crack, as it will, you take it off the element, go outside, take the lid off. The toxicity that comes out of that pot will blow your mind. It is so vile. And that is what is actually in the salt. So I found out about a salt that you can do that test to and nothing comes out. It can be tested in any lab anywhere. It's extremely pure. So we have this major project on the go currently with a limited supply of this. in order to get a larger supply. It's a significant protocol to convert the salt without damaging the salt. But the key is a little bit of that salt in water that you have with the magnetic energy going through it to start with is going to change your life, because that's going to be able to allow that water to get inside your cells with the electrolytic fluid. So it's not water you're drinking anymore. It's actually called electrolytic fluid. And now it's going to donate to you instead of rob from you. Because any kind of salt water that you mix with pure water is going to, if you have exact amounts of water, it'll be exactly 50% of the salinity the moment you mix them. And so it's the same with drinking water. You're going to donate, you're going to pee it out, and you're going to lose electrolytes. So that is a very big factor for blood production, because that's the raw material your bone marrow uses to make blood. That is a major factor for brain function. So your brain is going to come on. You're going to tap into your intelligence that you already have at a much deeper level, and your gut health. Because gut health is based upon good quality hydrochloric acid in the stomach, and the chloric is the key because it's chloride minerals that come from the ocean. So these are the components that simplify that right down to the basics.
Gotcha. So what's the difference between electrolytic fluid compared to structured water, or is it just another name for kind of something similar?
Well, structured water kind of has a broad term where people use it very loosely. That just means that the molecular structure of the water, which is hexagonal, is going to be not deformed. So when water goes through pipes and it goes through water filters and reverse osmosis and distillation, it takes that structure away from it. And even if you didn't have the magnet to put under the water, it has to be a strong earth magnet. Even if you didn't have that, the moment you put the sea salt in, it instantly structures it, because the sea salt is a crystalline structure itself, and it has to melt into the water to be effective. And yeah, you can put it in your food, it's going to have some benefit, but you really want to have it in the fluid. So all the fluid you drink always have to have the minerals in it, and we're going to call it sea minerals. You don't even have to call it sea salt anymore. Just sea salt could be anything from the ocean. And with the sea minerals, you want to have all 92 minerals that are found in natural ocean water in its purest form without damage. And what you'll notice physically is that when you add those sea minerals to the water, it immediately makes it smooth and silky. That's how you know. It's like, oh, okay, that's very different. And you can drink it easily. Whereas if you're drinking pure water, you're going to kind of choke it down. And then same with spring water. Spring water is just dissolved rocks. The ocean is not dissolved rocks, right? Sea minerals are electrolytic. And now what it means is that your electrical system is going to be supplemented, and you're going to get lit up. Electrolytes. Your brain is going to be bright, because every thought you have requires all these minerals, specifically magnesium, as the master mineral for electrical energy and for brain power. So every thought you think requires minerals as the catalyst at the base of that. So just to touch your index finger to your thumb takes 80,000 thoughts per touch. And if you do all your fingers, you can imagine the number of thoughts that I have to have automatically going just to stand here and talk to you with my fingers, and I can twiddle my toes and still keep the conversation, because all those things are automated. So they become, your coordination goes way up, your equilibrium gets into sync with your whole, all the systems in equilibrium. So the electrolytes are the key there. There's many electrolyte products in the market like Element T and Liquid IV and all those. They're better than nothing, but I don't bother with them at all. I go much, much higher than that. And it's an investment. You're going to invest in your health.
Oh, absolutely. It's fascinating back when I started my journey in adding electrolytes and minerals, because people have forgotten that we are electric beings to begin with, right? They're different than the batteries of our car that actually has electrolytes in the batteries of our car. Like, it was incredible how that once I started taking minerals and electrolytes, how things started coming back online again, because it's needed for those electrical impulses in our body. It's just fascinating. So yes, that's what I wanted to try. And I remember chasing you down at Dragonfly, and I was like, how do I get that product? But yeah, so we need to talk more. But let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll dive deeper into the 4 different products that I have here, and how they're different and why, and all that fun stuff, because you really do things differently than most anybody I've seen out there. And that's why, like I said, absolutely fascinated with the stuff that you're doing. So thank you. Everybody stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Imagine having an extra hour in your day. With Carol Bike, it's possible in just 5 minutes. You experience what hours of traditional cardio can't match, thanks to scientifically engineered, AI personalized workouts. It's not about working out longer, it's about working out smarter. Every session is tailored to your fitness level, making it perfect for anyone, regardless of age or ability. Say goodbye to guesswork and hello to precision with workouts that are scientifically proven to boost your health and fitness in 90% less time than regular cardio. Who doesn't want that? Less time working out and still get the amazing benefits? Yes, please. Scientifically proven to reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes by 62%, lower blood pressure by 5% with just 3 short workouts a week. Feel the benefits of Carol Bike for yourself, risk-free for 100 days. And if it's not for you, return it and get a full refund. Carol Bike is more than a time saver. It's a life enhancer. Make sure to go to carolbike.com, that's CAROL bike.com, and use coupon code RHB to receive $100 off. Make sure to take the next step in your healing journey with your Carol Bike.
When you're facing painful symptoms, a diagnosis of chronic Lyme, or an autoimmune disease, it can be overwhelming to navigate. You already know mainstream medicine doesn't have the tools to support you, and often even alternative medicine can become a maze of options without sustained results. Modern living puts significant stress on our systems. To counter this, we need a holistic approach, utilizing the latest technology and guided by physicians with decades of clinical experience. This is biological medicine. The Biomed Center in Scottsdale, Arizona is one of the most comprehensive clinics in the world, incorporating the latest diagnostics available, such as full-body MRIs, computer regulation thermography, heart rate variability, toxin screenings, and along with hormone and gut testing, they achieve the broadest look at all systems of the body. Customized protocols are developed by physicians who have treated thousands of patients in chronic disease by optimizing their biological performance. Save yourself years of suffering and searching with a visit to the Biomed Center, Scottsdale. The future of medicine is here.
Yay, welcome back. Super exciting. All right. So let's start off with perfect iodine. So why is iodine important? And how is yours different than other stuff on the market?
So the perfect iodine is a very specific purity. It's called USP grade. That means it's certified absolutely pure. So there's only I2 molecular iodine crystals that we start with as the raw material. And then we convert that into a gas. And that gets infused into super purified water at 300 parts per million. So it's low dose, but very high volume. So instead of worrying about, you're not going to overdose on that product ever, it's going to go into your system, it's going to carpet bomb all the stuff that is in your body that's like fungal overgrowth, yeast overgrowth, heavy metal poisonings, any kind of microbial imbalances, any kind of bacterial overgrowth, like all those things that bother people, it's going to go after them. And it's also a fuel. So it's a neurological fuel, neurometabolic fuel, because every cell in your body requires a little bit of pure iodine in that form. And people are iodine deficient across the board. Some are greatly iodine deficient to lesser, but everybody suffers from that iodine deficiency because they're not realizing that that's a cellular fuel. Everybody thinks it's for the thyroid. The thyroid cannot use perfect iodine. It has no ability. So the thyroid has receptor sites for iodide. And those receptor sites get plugged up with, different things like bromide, fluoride, these different things that get into those receptor sites that are in the water, in the air, in food. And so the iodine goes and cleans those receptor sites out. When the iodine goes into your system, whether it's through your skin or ingesting is the best, it then converts immediately to iodide when it reacts. So if it reacts with heavy metals, it becomes iodide. Microbials, iodide. Fungus, iodide. Now the iodide is available in its purest form in your bloodstream, and that then is picked up by your thyroid. Your thyroid can only use iodide for fuel. and that produces T3, T4 iodine hormones, which is now fueling everything for your whole endocrine system, because the thyroid system, the thyroid gland, is designed to basically power everything, your metabolism, your immune system, your brain function. And therefore, with that proper fuel in the proper form, without all the other confusing elements like potassium iodide, for example, in table salt, it's better than nothing, but this is far superior.
I'm sorry.
So what happens to
what
you?
was that sound again? Was that
Yeah,
that the technical?
buzzer.
No.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry. So how does I've heard that iodine also helps protect against radiation.
Yeah, it does. Well, it's really in the thyroid gets affected by radioactive forces. It can really throw your thyroid off. And so is the iodide going in is a protectant. Iodine is going to protect your whole entire body. So most people are not aware of how much iodine is used in industries. You can't make a tire without iodine. You can't do a circuit board for a computer without iodine. Iodine is a conductive element, and so it's also tied in to your whole electrolytic system. And what you'll notice right away when you consume it, I usually just put like a teaspoon in, say this much water, and I'll do that once a day. And if I have a lot of stuff going on that day, I'll do up to a tablespoon. That'll be 3 teaspoons. And right away, within, I would say 30 seconds to a minute, you're going to get a nice little buzz, because it's an upgrade very quickly to your whole system. Your blood, like this stuff is so tiny, those are Dalton molecules. They instantly go in through your cheeks, into your tongue, into your throat. By the time it gets to your tummy, it's already in your bloodstream. So your blood, you only have 5 liters of blood in your whole body. And you're going to pump all 5 liters every 60 seconds to every single cell in your body, your entire blood system. You pump 7,200 liters of blood a day. So that's why this stuff works so quickly. Like people will get a little buzz, they go, am I supposed to feel it that fast? They go, absolutely. And the little buzz is fun, but what you're looking for is a gradual ramp up until you have significant brain power. That's the one thing I noticed. It was like, really? After 3 months, I had so much more brain power than I'd ever had in my life. I was like, everyone has to find out about this. And the only way you can find out about it is when you consume it, because I can talk all I want. But until you get the actual element in your body being a living system is super sensitive, and it loves this stuff. So, yeah.
That's fascinating. It's probably a lot of the stuff I actually contribute to some of the resilience that I've gone through over the past 3 months. I was telling you right before we got on, I recently found out over this weekend that an AC unit had been blowing mold on me, and I'm one of those canary in the coal mines type of people. And I lost my shit last weekend. It was not pretty. And that's what kind of sparked me to figure out what was going on. And I can't help but wonder if, part of your products were new to me, and how I've been able to operate as well as I have, right, under those conditions. I think it's really given me a higher level of resiliency. So if I've been able to operate that well underneath something as insidious as mold, I can't even wait until, give it a few weeks when I've detoxed, how much better I'm going to be operating. Like, I'm super excited about it.
Right. And the mold, which is a type of fungus, and all these different types of molds are insidious. A lot of times you can't smell them. If you can smell them, you're really getting hit hard. The black mold, all that garbage that comes out of there, and it's really the gas that is coming out of those mold spores. That's the real toxic stuff, and it can get everywhere in your system so quickly. I'm really sorry to hear that you had to go through that, but now at least you found out. And a lot of times people are not aware that there's tons of mold inside the walls of their house, and you can't see it, you can't smell it, but boy, is it ever there. I had a friend who did a $1 million project for the DoD on mold detection, and it was for all the barracks where all these people in the military were staying, and it was this crazy thing. So he was able to get a sniffer that could detect it. It was never released publicly, because if they ever released something that sensitive, there would be class action lawsuits everywhere. Every landlord would be sued.
Absolutely. Well, and the college dorms, I can't get over what's going on with these poor college kids. I'm talking to mom after mom after mom. My kid was fine. till I sent them away to college, and now they're losing their shit, and their brain is swollen, and they're suicidal, and it's like check for mold. Like it's crazy.
Hmm.
It's crazy. So let's talk about the black cumin oil next. So how is yours different than any other black cumin oil on the market, and why? Why should we care? Why should we be taking black cumin oil?
Right. So it's commonly called black seed oil. The reason we call it black cumin seed oil is to define the scientific term and the botanical name. Now, the difference between ours and everyone else's is significant, but I want to point out that any black seed oil that I've seen on the market to date is actually good.
Oh,
So it goes
fantastic.
good, good, great, greater, greatest. And so whenever you're going to invest in yourself, if you can get access to the greatest levels of quality, that means that the oil that is in there is exactly the same as it would be in the seed itself. And the only way you can ensure that is you have to know where the plants are grown, where the black cumin is actually grown. You have to know that the farmer is not taking shortcuts when they're harvesting. A lot of farmers will do volume production, and they will harvest it early and then put it through a heating process to dry it out, because the season's only so long, and they take shortcuts. That damages the oil inside the seed to start with. So we make sure that does not happen, and we have quality checks on every single batch that we receive. Then how it is packaged. So our seeds come from India. They're all certified organic, and they're really certified organic. It's not like somebody paid somebody $500 to get a fake certificate. There's a lot of that going on. So we have to validate all the stuff that comes in, and we can tell right away. And so we've had to reject certain loads of it over the time, but all the ones that we have now, because we've validated it, it comes in the proper package, it's ready to go. And then when it comes into our facility, we have a very special technology that presses the oil out of the seed, which is different than anyone else's, where it does not grind and shear and overheat and damage the oil, because that oil is very sensitive and it will structurally damage it. The molecular structure can be damaged very easily. So don't hurt the oil, don't hurt the wine, right? It's one of those principles. So our press allows the oil to come out in a fraction of a second instead of 10 seconds of all these different machines grinding and shearing and pressing. And you can tell right away by the texture, that means how it feels in your mouth, the color, the smell, and the taste, and also the bioavailability. Because when it's damaged, it doesn't get into the cell properly. It's still useful, even when it's damaged, but it's much, much more useful when you have it in perfect shape. So that just means we have to take more care, more steps. It is a higher cost for us to do it. And interestingly enough, in the last 12 months, our seed cost doubled.
Ouch.
We pay twice as much. And we buy container loads, and there's nothing we can do about that. There's a demand because black seed oil is trending, and so we just have to go through that. We did not increase our price because we're looking at it from a multiple standpoint of making it, number one, affordable for people, and make sure that we have just certain costs. The bottle costs a certain amount. That bottle, you'll notice, is made from Miron glass. That's the highest end package you can buy on earth, and it's a dark violet. If you shine a bright light through it, you'll see deep, deep purple color. And that pigment in the glass allows all of the beneficial light rays to come through and blocks all the harmful light rays. And there's a whole ton of science behind that. And it also makes it so that product will last for years and years, far beyond the expiration date. But by law, we have to put on like 3 years expiration, just because that's the regulations in the government agencies. But it is able to keep that as pristine as it was purchased, as it was produced. So when you purchase it, you're getting the real deal that was actually inside the seed. And that can be used externally. Mostly, of course, it's internal. And you only need a teaspoon a day. And it's a teaspoon after one meal. Pick whatever meal you like, 1 teaspoon in your mouth, to swish it around a little bit by putting your head forward with a teaspoon. And then have a little bit of water, electrolytic fluid, after you have it swished around for a little bit, because it helps with your dental. And then you just put it back with water. It tastes so good. If you put a teaspoon in your mouth and just swallow it, it's pretty pungent.
That's
strong
how
stuff.
I've been taking it.
Yeah.
As Lyme
Yeah.
patients, we're used to doing some pretty horrific things to ourselves in the name of health. So I didn't think that's as bad as the Solaris, but we'll get to that. But no, yeah, this is the beautiful bottle he's talking about. I forgot that when I was showing you guys, he was talking, so of course I wasn't on camera. but it is a pretty awesome. I know, and I was reading the back of it. I said things have been kind of nuts lately, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that's why my skin has been looking so good lately. Like I've been noticing, I was like, why is my
Hmm.
skin looking so amazing lately? And then I was reading the back. I'm like, oh, encouraging joint and muscle comfort. I've been having issues with IT band and plantar fasciitis. That's gotten a little bit better. And maintaining healthy skin, promoting healthy weight management and respiratory health. That's probably why I remember a guy who got a hold of my genes, my genetics, and he was saying that I wouldn't, if I got COVID, that it would kick my ass because I wouldn't be able to detox it properly. But he told me that black seed oil would be what helps save my butt during that time. So I was curious about that and like COVID.
Hmm. Well, it majorly supports the pancreas as well. And it's also a respiratory support, helps with fatty liver problems. It does, in fact, there's prophecies from other religions around the world that say it cures everything but death. I don't like that statement because I don't believe that it cures anything. But what it does is supports your body to heal itself at a much higher level because it's supporting all your systems. Your body does all the healing. You know that. There's nobody's going to come, and have a miracle healing on you suddenly, unless that's a divine thing, which can happen. But that's extremely rare, for a person to be divinely, miraculously healed without any intervention at all. That has happened in the past. There's many records of that. But we're talking about your day-to-day, supporting your body's ability to stay healthy and keep itself cleansed. And it's actually it's anti-parasitic and antifungal.
Oh, shut up. I just had my ALT ran, speaking of fatty liver, and the number went down. And I was like, huh, I wonder what I've been doing to help that along. Now I know. So black
Yep.
cumin oil. All right, but I'm going to start taking it, trying it like you suggest to do. With the perfect iodine, does it matter what time of day or before or after meals?
Well, the perfect iodine protocol is, I say always if you can on an empty stomach. So in between meals is when you take the iodine. And you wait 20 minutes. Don't take iodine with anything else because it wants to go into work and it doesn't want to be having to deal with other things that it's going in with. And then 20 minutes later is when you take the Solaris. The Solaris is also a solo product. So you really only have to divide up 20 minutes during the day, just one 20-minute period. So you're on an empty stomach, you take the iodine, 20 minutes later you take the Solaris. The Solaris goes in and supports all the stuff that the iodine is releasing by converting any foreign matter in your body into inert material. A lot of times that heavy metals can be recontaminating your body in different places if you release it. So Solaris is miraculous in that it converts all this stuff into inert matter that cannot harm you anymore. And the thing that Solaris does is it cleans your cell membrane. So it gets all the unused proteins, it cleans them up. So that every cell has like this little sphere, and the 360 degrees around the cell is a lipid membrane. And that lipid can get very contaminated. So you don't get the nutrient absorption properly, and you can't detox the waste as efficiently. So the Solaris goes in and helps that cell get cleaned up, which makes the cell live a lot longer. And that the longer the cell lives, the longer you live, because you're not constantly replacing cells as you go. And that's the main function internally. Solaris also works externally remarkably well. And so does the iodine. Iodine is what your body uses to heal the skin. So we have a brand coming out called Young Skin, where you dilute that iodine way down and you spray it on your face. And then you just let it soak in. It takes only a couple minutes. And you put a moisturizer in. You can also use Solaris, very much diluted down, and spray it in your skin and cleanse your skin with it. It gets all the pores opened up because there are the whiteheads and the blackheads and all those things that cause blemishes. And one other thing that I can't mention the name of, if you take this straight up Solaris on something that could end your life, that is on your skin, you put it in full strength 2 to 3 times a day. Within 2 weeks, we've had many reports of people say that it completely blew it up, dried it up, you peel it off, and there's no scar.
So I thought Solaris was something that you took if you needed a little extra help in the immune system, but it sounds like you're taking it daily.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I take it in sprints.
Oh, okay.
So I don't take it every single day, but I'll do a 90-day sprint. And once you do that, you've cleaned up a lot of stuff in your body that's going to last for quite a while. Then you just tune in. You can do it for a week and then take a week off and do it for a weekend like that. So you don't have to do it every day once you've done the 90-day sprint with the iodine. That's going to make a huge upgrade for your immune system not to have to fight all that stuff that would otherwise get consumed. And that draws your energy down. And your immune system is inside your blood. People say, well, where's the immune system? Well, it can only be in the blood. Yes, the immune system is affected by your gut health, but your blood goes to every cell in your body 24 hours a day, every 60 seconds. So all those antibodies and all that clean blood is able to now deliver the antibodies to go against those things that should not be in your system to keep you down, maybe with an infection or congestion or inflammation or whatever you want to call it.
So would you take the iodine the same way, a 90-day sprint, 1 week, one off, or is that something you still take daily?
The iodine is a daily fuel forever because you're going to use that, like the Solaris is not a fuel, the Solaris is a detoxer. Iodine is a fuel. It is absolutely an essential must-have, just like the transdermal magnesium. The black cumin you can do in spurts as well. I would suggest at least 90 days on the black cumin. Some people totally swear by it. They'll do it for the rest of their life every day, which is great because it's only a small amount. If you had a sore throat, a head cold, bronchitis, congestion, you can take it more than just 1 teaspoon and you gargle it in the back of the throat. It almost immediately starts to relieve the sore throat and the tonsillitis and things like that, just by soothing it. Because all that flesh back there needs that antibacterial, antifungal, and also the antiparasitical. Because the parasites release bacteria, release viruses, release all that crap.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back to the Solaris really quick. What is Solaris exactly, and why does it taste like soap?
Okay, so it's the reason it has that funky taste, and it's actually, I don't like the taste particularly, but you can tell it's a very beneficial taste, is primarily made of clove, rosemary, and thyme, but it's not an essential oil. Like, they'll take the bud or the leaf and they'll make essential oils. This is the entire plant with all of the plant esters that come out. And that's why when you put it into water, it disappears immediately. There's none of this oil stuff sitting on top. It's fully emulsified, so when it goes in your system, it's completely available biologically. And you're going to assimilate it perfectly. And that's the key, is the bioavailability of these things. And that's why it can clean up the cells. So yeah, the iodine is, the buddies with the Solaris, because the Solaris, supports the body to detox. But yeah, it's just a matter of getting into the habit patterns.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the last one that I have is the Oceans Alive. So it says energy and foods, raw phytoplanktons. What is this? How do you use it? How is it different than other, products on the market that, are kind of similar?
Like microalgae. So that is a microalgae, but it's a marine-based microalgae, which is quite different than spirulina and chlorella and those types of different freshwater bacterias. So this is not a bacteria, this is an actual phytoplankton. So that means it's a plant that replicates itself. And it's called a microalgae because it is microscopic. You have to have a microscope to see how tiny it is, around 9 microns. And it goes down, the Nanochloropsis catatana goes down to 2. The Tetrasemis is like 14, so in between like 8 to 9 microns. Has 2 strains of marine phytoplankton. Why would you consume that? Well, because back in 2007, I learned about this and nobody even heard of it before. And I found out that the study that was done showed every nutritional molecule known to all historical data in the world for all the essential amino acids, essential fatty acids, pigments, minerals, plant minerals, and all the things your body does to produce vitamins and to do DNA repair and produce hormones. So you need all those nutritional materials, and it comes in nanoparticulate. So inside that little microscopic algae is billions of nanoparticles that release to your system. So it's like the whole orchestra playing at once. It's all heirloom. It's grown on land in a photobioreactor, so it's completely free from all environmental contaminants. And there was a 40-year study that looked at all the different strains of thousands of different marine phytoplankton strains around the world, and they found 2 that were the perfect match for the human nutritional profile. Now, that is an unprocessed raw marine phytoplankton, stabilized and purified sea mineral concentrate. So that means that it's been instantly suspended, like suspended animation. It sits in fluid, and so when you take it, it's like it was freshly harvested. And all you do is put that in water. The thing that people reported back immediately is they felt like their battery was being charged inside their body, and they had a much greater joyful mental energy. There was a joyful mental energy.
Oh, we could definitely use some more joy in this world these days. That is for damn sure. I'm going to start handing this stuff out like Oprah to people. You
Yeah.
get some, you get some, you get some. So is there any tricks? How do you take this to get the best bang for your buck?
Well, you can put it in your smoothie. You can put it in a drink. Just make sure it's not hot. You can even blend it. The blender can't hurt it because the particles are too small. They're much smaller than the sharp blade in a Vitamix, for example. And you put it into fluids so you don't really have a taste. Some people love the taste. I'm not a lover of the taste. I'm really used to it. I can squirt it in my mouth, but why bother? Why do that? You put it in water, you stir it around, it instantly blends in, and just shoot it back. And
On
you
an
know, like you're
empty
putting in a
stomach
smoothie.
or during the day, or does that matter?
Does not matter. Empty stomach, full stomach, it does not matter. It's fuel. So if you're having a high power day where you're using a lot of brain power, a lot of activity, you can take it up to 5 times a day. If you're having a regular day, yeah, just once in the morning is plenty enough. If you have a little bit of a dip in the afternoon, take some, because that's going to definitely bring your energy back up. And it gives you the mental energy, because people are using their brain like a lot. And if you're under stress, you definitely take some more. And you start with a small amount and see how it feels. What we used to do, I mean, I don't do this at trade shows anymore, but back in the day when we were introducing it, it was really funny because I would get people to taste how strong it was straight up, but I will only put 1 drop on their hand. And because it's so intense, it would sit up on their hand like a dome. And I go, what do I do? I go, just lick it off. It's going to be strong, but it's not bad, right? Because it's only 1 drop. And I said, just, yeah, consume it, and then just, go for a walk and come back in about 15 minutes or so and tell me how you feel. And they would come back, and not everybody, but a lot of people would come back and go, I'm seriously supposed to feel this because I totally feel something. And I go, absolutely. It's gone into your system. It took about 15 minutes, and you're definitely going to get a good mental buzz off this stuff. And it's a feel-good thing. And then once in a while they say, is this stuff even legal? Like, what's in this thing? I go, yeah, it's totally legal. There's no stimulants whatsoever. There's nothing fake about it. It's all heirloom. And it's just a deep level nutrient that's going to give your body the orchestra to play at once that your body's never had that experience. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible. Like I said, your stuff is just, it's so fascinating. It's so foundational, right? But it's like foundational with a twist. Like you've done something to it to actually get the best benefit, the best bang of the buck. Because yeah, it's a really toxic, horrible kind of world out there that we're dealing with right now. And we need to get back to the basics. And I absolutely adore these products. So with a little bit of time that we have left, like what's one product that we didn't talk about that you'd like to bring up?
I would say the perfect K2D3. And I really would like to talk about ease, but the ease is a transdermal. People can look it up. Ease magnesium is transdermal. It does your whole body from the outside in to store magnesium in your bank account. But the reason I talked about K2D3 is specifically for women, is that it allows the calcium to get driven to where it's supposed to go inside the body, which is in the bones, the teeth, the jaw, the skull, and not build up in the muscles and the joints and the arteries and the cardiovascular system. So the K2MK7 is a very special form of it, has a trans factor, totally certified, working with the D3, which helps to seal up the membranes between the cells. So it doesn't let those microbes go in. So it's a major immune support. And D3 we could talk about for an hour, and so K2MK7. But these are the main points. And we've had many women who are stressed out or having hormonal change, where they're losing big chunks of hair when they're brushing it, completely reversed in 2 weeks, just from taking the perfect K2D3. So that's something that is just a very important thing to have into your protocol.
Well, so you were talking about going into the areas that it's not supposed to. I think that's commonly, some people know as a calcium shell, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
actually can affect your, how easily you feel and respond to emotions as well. So if people are like, I used to have feelings and then now I just kind of feel numb, I just feel kind of checked out, it could be calcium going into these places that it's not supposed to and getting a calcium shell. So that's fascinating to learn that. I have not tried the K2D3. I have tried the Ease Magnesium. I do have that as well. I forgot it. It's in my bathroom. I spray it on myself before I go to bed at night. So why is that one different than a regular magnesium out there?
Well, because of the raw material that we start with, we start with a USP grade, ultra purified magnesium chloride hexahydrate. So the other transdermal magnesiums in the market, they're just magnesium chloride. They buy the cheap raw material, they melt it in water and sell it to you and tell you to spray it on. It has a tiny bit of a benefit, but nothing even close to when it takes us 12 hours to make our product. We put it through a special proprietary process that makes it go deep into solution. That's why when you put ours on, it's super comfortable and it just disappears right away. There's no itchy scratch.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of gritty feeling. It's nice. Not yours.
Yeah, it's just smooth. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, no, not yours. Yeah. The other ones that I've tried, you kind of feel this gritty stickiness and yours just disappears. So if you're taking magnesium that way, does that mean that you can stop taking magnesium orally? Or is it still beneficial?
Well, the oral magnesium, depending on what you're taking and the form it's in, a lot of magnesiums in the market that are consumed orally are very taxing to your digestive system and heart and your kidneys. They do still benefit you because they are going to get into your bloodstream and go throughout your body. This stuff just goes in transdermally and it builds a bank account in your tissue. So it bypasses that whole system and just goes directly in. Then you can put it in geographically. So you're putting it from your neck all the way down to your ankles. And when you first start doing it, you should do the lower extremities even more and build up your bank account. It takes around 3 months to build the bank account up. Then you can drop down to, 1 time a day, 30 sprays before you go to bed. But traditionally, people will do it in the morning and the evening. It helps to muscle relax. It does 330 different biochemical reactions requiring magnesium as the master mineral. So this is supplying your bank account. You just think about building a bank account of magnesium that's always available, because the more stress you're under, the more you have brain power, the more your endocrine system needs to be done. You need that magnesium as a fuel. And it's just too much to talk about on this call as far as all the other benefits. But those are the big ones.
Absolutely. Absolutely amazing. Like I said, I just absolutely adore you and what you've been doing in these products and the ease of them. I know we've got a special right now where you have a special landing page where you can get the black cumin. When you buy that, you get a free Solaris. And then we've got another page where you can get the other products at a 15% off with the discount RHP, and all that stuff will be in the show notes. So go to make sure to check that out. And what's the last one little thing you kind of want to leave us with, Ian, before we sign off?
Well, the biggest thing I always do to encourage people to build their own enthusiasm, because enthusiasm is part of the joy thing, right? And no matter whether the chips are down at the time or the world's falling apart, you still want to build your enthusiasm, which ties into your self-esteem, which ties into your joyful energy, which makes you know that you're extremely important on this earth. You're here to deliver value to everybody around you. And just think about getting that in the bank account full of enthusiasm. And then that also ties into courage to be able to stand there strong when you have a lot of opposition in your life.
Can I get an amen? Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. Hey, make sure to have a healthy day. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us. And as always, if you were inspired by anything that you heard on today's show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. That's the only way that we help change people's lives and get this information out into the world so that change can begin one person at a time, the way that it did with me and changed my life so many years ago. Make sure to, right, if you really want to start changing your life, it starts with your diet. It starts with what's on the end of your fork. And if you want to start making changes, go to my website, www.renegadehealthboss, RENEGADE, health, HEALTHBOSS.com, and download your free ebook, your free cooking guide, Real Cooking to Real Life. And in there, you'll also find links to the videos. Don't just learn what to eat, but why, right? Don't just learn how to cook, but the reasonings behind why I use some of the tools that I do, the toxins. You've got to lower your toxic burden, and we can do that in the kitchen and with what you eat. So make sure that you pick up that free resource. It's amazing. And while we're at it, we got to do a little disclaimer. Anything that you hear on this show is for entertainment value only. You cannot hold Heather Gray, the Lyme boss, Discovering Health LLC or Renegade Health Boss liable for any damages that may have occurred while you have tried something that you've heard on the show. This show also contains affiliate sponsorship and paid advertising, just a heads up. But to also know that no advertising gets on here without my approval first. It's usually products that I have tried and have my stamp of approval on it. So never fear when it comes to that. But yes, cannot hold me liable. Do not, this is for educational purposes only. Please make sure that you talk to your doctor before making any medical changes. And God bless. Stay tuned.